Welcome to my web series. My name is Daskys, and this is where I jump between old and new games to answer the burning question, is it worth it? Today on the cutting block, The Quarry. The Quarry is an interactive horror game where from the beginning to the end, you're on this invisible guide rail, constantly pushing you towards a narrative with 15 different directions of where the rails can go. Think of you like the switch conductor, flipping the switch and choosing which direction you're going to go down. And depending on what you choose, it may change the outcome of whether your character stays alive at the end of this whole fiasco. I know, like, most reviewers will turn around and tell you, well, this game really makes you feel like Spider-Man, but this game really makes you feel like you're in a horror movie. The only difference is that your choices actually affect the story. You're not just experiencing the film, you're a part of it. And I think that's a big part of what makes these games so impactful and memorable. Just being able to pick and choose and have your story. It's your story. It's not some director picking and choosing what's going to happen or who's going to die or whatnot. You're directly impacting it from your choices. The campaign has 9 characters. All 9 characters are actually memorable, and by the time this ends, you probably will care about them, which is very rare for one of these type of games to do. I recommend that you do this and play this game with a friend. Unfortunately, this game is not online co-op, it's couch co-op. So in other words, if you wanted to play this game, you'd have to have people physically with you, which is not the worst thing ever. You can make this into a movie night because this game does feel like a movie. Now, what I like about the co-op is that you're able to assign characters to certain people. Let's say you have 7 people in the room, right? You could assign one character to each person in that room, and every time that character's on screen, you pass them the controller, which can add another level of depth and even attachment to a character that you wouldn't have otherwise, because that would be the one character you're playing with, and if they die, game over. For the first hour of this game, it is essentially puppy love central. Everybody is into everybody. Everybody wants everybody. It's just a bunch of teenagers with their hormones driving themselves crazy. This is the part of the game where you get to know everyone and ultimately start liking them. Unfortunately, there is one character that I just didn't really care much for. Not that like I hated them or anything. I just felt that they didn't do a very good job making me care for them. The Australian character, for some reason, the only thing he has going on for him is that he's Australian. He's not an artist or a musician or anything like that. He's just a love interest of another character, and that's pretty much where that ends. And unfortunately, they could have fleshed this out a little bit more, maybe given him a little bit of playtime at the beginning, because he doesn't have any time to build into a character. Supermassive Games has a habit of putting this post-chapter character, a character that every single time you finish a chapter will turn around and tell you, what did you do? What were the options that you had? Or like they'll tell you you messed up or something under those lines. Again, they do it in this game where they have this witch character talk to you with this crystal ball. Now, this character is going to talk a little bit of shit because she wants you to bring her tarot cards. And usually at the beginning of the game, you don't find any of these. If you find a tarot card, congratulations, you're better than I. But I found none, and she tells you off. She is telling you, you don't care for your future. Why don't you? You know I'm here to help you, but you don't give a shit. Basically, she just fucking loses her mind.
So, then, what more has been found?
Nothing.
You return without any more of my cards. Yet you return nonetheless. Why is that, do you think?
Because I looked, but I didn't look hard enough.
I can't help you without the cards. I want them found. I want them returned to me. Please.
If you do bring her a tarot card, she provides you a little piece of information where she starts explaining like, oh, this is the card of death, and this can mean a death or rebirth or the end of an era. And she'll explain, but it's actually for a death. And she'll be like, do you want to see more? And then from there, she'll open up a crystal ball and show you one possibility of what may come. I would love to go into detail as to why I like the story so much. Unfortunately, if I give you any sort of details or information past the point I have already, I'd be ruining and spoiling the game. And half of the fun is figuring it out for yourself. The graphics in this game are just phenomenal. This is a next-gen game that really boasts a certain level in character design and models. The characters look great. The animations in the face look great. There has only been a few moments in the game where I'd feel it was a little awkward due to like little glitches here and there. You'll have an eyelid flicker here or an eyeball move around a little weird there, which it happens. This is the first version of the game. I'm sure they'd even patch it out by the next version. Regardless, for every single miss they have another 5 or 6 hits. So take it as you will, you know? Now, hardcore campaign in my situation with my characters and my actual playthrough, I actually had a playthrough go about 8 hours. I know that the averages are anywhere between 7 to 10, depending on how many characters you still have alive. Unfortunately, 2 of my characters died due to unforeseen circumstances, but this happens, right? It's a part of the game, and it's a part of the fun. The fact that my characters died gives me replayability where I could go back and save them, and I might get a whole other 2 hours of gameplay. A lot of the times this game made me feel like taking no action was just as important as taking an action, which normally these games give you like a fork in the road. It will give you moments where you're aiming at a bush and it's telling you you have to do something, you have to shoot, but you don't. Or you'll wait for a character to walk up to you or an enemy to walk up to you and you'll shoot them. And that will cause like a whole domino effect of things that will happen after that point, when you could have gone and ran away and that choice might actually kill a teammate, which is kind of cool in the sense because it gives this level of, okay, my actions have direct consequences. Even no action has a direct, affliction to what may happen, and I have to be careful what I choose to do and not to do. Now, to clarify for replayability, a lot of the time, a lot of people go after trophies and achievements and whatnot. This game is not outside the realm of what people will go for, and unfortunately, they do a kind of piss-poor job with the actual system for evidence, clues, and tarot cards. Unfortunately, it's going to give you a lot of forks in the road to have to choose on multiple playthroughs and have to go back in time and replay areas. The issue with this is not the fact that they make you replay it. That's completely fine. It's the fact that they reset all of the items that you collect in that campaign up until that point. One of the forks being at the second chapter, you'd have to replay everything inside the game, recollect every single item inside the game, and then you'd get the actual trophy or achievement, which is a bit of a problem because that means you have to go and redo the whole campaign basically from the beginning to get both sets of tarot cards because it resets from that chapter, and then go about the whole process again. I'll be honest with you, it's a great game, but to have to go do all that for a trophy, it's not going to happen. The Quarry has a movie mode, so if you don't plan on playing the game and you just want to experience it like a horror movie or whatnot, you could do that. You could make it so that all the characters survive, all the characters die, or that there's like a random assortment of character traits that you could choose. This is probably the funnest one that you could do because you could sit in a Discord, have everybody choose a certain thing, and then have the game play itself out. Personally, I'm not a big fan because I could just play the game for one. Why would I put an AI bot to do it for me unless like I'm leaving my stream and I'm going for a drive and I want to have it on? Maybe then I would say, okay, fine, sure, but still, it doesn't make sense to me. It's a video game. It's meant to be played, not watched. Now, with all this covered, I think it's enough to be able to give the answer, is it worth it? This being a supermassive game and me absolutely loving most of the House of Ashes, Man of Medan, Little Hope was a little hopeful that it would do well, but anyways, me playing all those games set me in a precedence where I had an expectation to play this in full co-op multiplayer, which is only possible with third-party applications like Parsec that allow you to remote into each other's computers and play natively on that PC, like as if you're sitting next to each other. So what does this mean for a final verdict? Well, I have to say that this game is fantastic and it has a great story and characters that are memorable, and it's just a unique way of telling a story that you can't normally get watching a horror film. So just off that pretense, yes, it is worth it. You will enjoy it. You will have fun. If you're a fan of horror films and camera shots and all that stuff, they are doing a fantastic job visually in this game and narrative-wise. It's just a great fucking experience. If you're looking for what House of Ashes has, where you're able to play 2 different characters, have 2 different narratives and whatnot, this game doesn't have that. You're one by one playing every single character's campaign, and there's not going to be that little devious secret, I don't know because I didn't see it on my screen, you saw it on your screen type of thing, which can be a lot of fun in these games. So I'll say, if you're looking for what the Dark Pictures anthology stories do, where you have 2 different narratives and each character is experiencing it themselves, so it becomes more of a multiplayer experience where you could replay from the other character's perspective, which is awesome because you get the storyline you have to replay off of and also the other character's story that you didn't see. That's where this game falls off and doesn't have those intricacies that the Dark Pictures games have. This is yet another Is It Worth It video. I hope I answered some questions you may have about the game, and ultimately I hope that I helped you make your decision on what you want. That's the whole point of this. Thank you so much for all of your attention. If you liked the video, press the like button. Like always, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss anything I do. And yeah, never change. You beautiful bastard.